First things first, the best time to work out is whenever you can do it, because it's already a struggle for a lot of people to work out to begin with. So do it whenever you can. But your results, or lack thereof, is highly dependent on the types of workouts you're doing. Because there's nothing worse than putting in the effort to exercise and not see the results you're looking for. And this is what happens to all the well-meaning people that purely just do cardio workouts. I'm talking about spin, Zumba, jogging, skipping, yoga, spending a stupid amount of time on any cardio machine where you're on the elliptical, just doing this for hours, or really any cardio-based group workout. Those people end up making zero gains over a lifetime because they're doing these fluffy workouts. But if you do some form of resistance training, and it does not have to be heavy, you can just use your own body weight as your form of resistance. Like if you do push-ups, pull-ups, squats, and burpees, for example, or a variation of those movements, that automatically puts you in the top 12 percentile of the population. According to a recent disturbing study, 88% of American adults have some form of metabolic dysfunction. One of the best ways to correct metabolic dysfunction is by doing a combination of obviously making dietary changes, so intermittent fasting helps with that, living an overall active lifestyle, and doing some form of resistance training to build and maintain muscle. Listen, I'm not saying that cardio is bad, but if you were to just pick one form of exercise because you don't have a lot of time and you actually want to see results from your workouts, resistance training is king. In fact, resistance training is cardio. You get all the benefits that you'd normally get from doing cardio without the negative side effects by doing resistance training. Because resistance training is anabolic. Anabolic means to build. It's the only type of exercise that sends the strongest signal to your body to build and maintain muscle, while cardio is catabolic. Catabolic means to break down. One of the nasty adaptations of just purely doing cardio for exercise is you end up losing muscle. The complete opposite of what you're trying to accomplish from exercise. And if you're not lifting because you're worried that you're somehow gonna get bulky, you need to put those worries to rest. Listen, I've been lifting since I was a teenager. I was also a competitive national level weightlifter in Canada, and I look like this. So if you lift weights, that's how you get that tight and toned look that everybody wants. But if we're talking specifically about the best timing, morning or mid-morning workouts will greatly help to optimize your fat loss progress when you combine it with intermittent fasting. Because more likely than not, you've already depleted most, if not all of your glycogen stores, and you're already using some body fat as fuel in the morning. So anchoring a morning workout in that fat burning state can really help accelerate that fat burning process, because exercise is going to help deplete any of your remaining glycogen stores, and you get to fully switch to fat burning if you're metabolically flexible. Now, if you want to take things to the next level, there's a couple more things that you can do and you should do. First up, when should you eat after your workout? In case you didn't know, one of the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting is that it increases levels of growth hormone. Some experts consider growth hormone to be the real fountain of youth because of its anti-aging effects. One of those mechanisms is by ramping up fat oxidation, aka fat burning, to protect your muscles from breaking down when you fast. Like if you look at people that are sarcopenic, they look much older than their actual age. Sarcopenia, by the way, which is the loss of muscle mass, is not a disease of aging. It basically starts in your 30s if you don't know what you're doing. Sarcopenic obesity is also skyrocketing at a very alarming rate. And it's pretty easy to spot these people because they have poor tissue quality. They just look squishy. Which is why working out, again, specifically resistance training, in a fasted state could help with that anti-aging / fat burning process even more, because it also elevates anabolic hormones like testosterone and IGF-1. It's a win-win. In fact, this systematic review of 8 studies found that it actually protects and preserves lean muscle and decreases body fat while using resistance training. Again, that's why doing resistance training in a fasted state is a perfect match. I'd even argue that muscle is the real fountain of youth because it's the mechanism of health. It's your metabolic currency. It's like a suit of armor. The higher the muscle mass, the better the protection against all-cause mortality. Now, there's still this common myth about the post-anabolic window that you need to eat something right away after your workout. Otherwise, it's a complete waste and you're gonna start withering away. Okay, in extreme cases where you're a professional athlete and it's your job to train multiple times a day for hours at a time, sure, you'll probably benefit from eating right away after your workout. But we're talking about a fraction of the top 1% of the population there. But for the average person, like you and I, you don't need to stress about consuming something right away after your workout. You're gonna be fine. Because again, during the fasted state, you have increased levels of growth hormones to protect your muscles from breaking down, on top of that natural anabolic response from exercise. Another reason why you might benefit from waiting a little bit after exercise is this thing called autophagy that gets activated when you fast. Think of it as a cleanse on a cellular level. Your body, being the supercomputer that it is, looks for old, damaged, and worn out cells and clears it out to produce new healthy cells. It's like your body's natural recycling system. But again, fasting is not the be all end all. The level of autophagy you get depends on your physical activity levels. For example, there was a study on the effects of a 36-hour fast between two groups. So one group was physically active and fit. They had another group that was sedentary and overweight. The group that was physically fit had autophagy levels in their white blood cells increased by 200%, while the sedentary group did not see a statistically significant change in their autophagy. Some experts even believe that autophagy is the main reason why fasting could help prevent cancer, Parkinson's, and dementia. My point is, if you want to further accelerate that fat burning process and take advantage of some cellular repair in the form of autophagy, perhaps maybe you could wait even a little bit longer, like an hour or two, before you finally break your fast. This is how you can violently recalibrate your fat loss hormones and teach your body to be even more efficient at burning fat for energy. I personally wait an hour after training before breaking my fast. Now, just as important is your post-workout nutrition. This is actually where the real magic happens. Like, what types of food are you breaking your fast with? And by far, it's not even close, the most important thing that you need to prioritize is protein. And this is where a lot of people falter when it comes to their nutrition. And then they wonder why they're not losing weight. All my successful coaching clients follow what I'm about to tell you, and this is how they completely transform their bodies. Because protein, for some reason, has also become very emotional for a lot of people. But if we're talking about real numbers, the average female in the US eats about 70 grams of protein per day. The average male eats about 90 grams. At least 70% of American adults are either overweight or obese, with over 88 million people having either pre-diabetes or diabetes. You need to be eating close to double of those average protein numbers if you want to have healthy muscle tissue and optimal health. And this is information from the world's leading protein experts and researchers like Dr. Gabrielle Lyon and Dr. Donald Layman. My own personal feelings were not involved in gathering this information. And the solution is actually simple. You want to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Use that as your baseline. So if you're 200 pounds right now, but your ideal body weight is 150 pounds, you want to eat 150 grams of protein per day. If you eat 3 meals a day, eat 50 grams of protein per meal. And if you end up eating a little bit less than 150 grams per day, that's okay. But I'm willing to bet a lot of money that you're not even close to touching those numbers. Most people are guilty of this, especially if you're doing intermittent fasting, because now you're following a compressed eating window. That's why I don't really recommend anything longer than a 16-hour fast these days. Even then, I would cycle out of it and just do a 12 or 14-hour fast on weekends, especially if you're over 35 years old, to protect yourself from anabolic resistance, which could eventually lead to sarcopenia or sarcopenic obesity. So about an hour after your workout, you want to eat at least 30 to 50 grams of high-quality protein. And you're actually not eating for the protein. You're eating for the essential amino acids in that high-quality protein to trigger muscle protein synthesis. So there are 20 amino acids. 9 of them are essential, like leucine, isoleucine, and valine. And you want to specifically get 2.5 grams of leucine per meal, which is what 30 grams of high-quality protein gets you to trigger that all-important muscle protein synthesis. And MPS is just a fancy name for muscle building and maintenance. And getting those 2.5 grams of leucine to trigger MPS is a hard and fast biological number. Either it happens or it doesn't, kind of like whether you're pregnant or you're not. And if you don't get 30 grams of high-quality protein containing those 2.5 grams of leucine as your post-workout meal, guess what happens? Nothing. You don't trigger muscle protein synthesis, and your body is just gonna go for short-term survival. It's not gonna build muscle because it doesn't have enough essential amino acids. And by high quality protein, I'm talking about protein from animals and animal products, because it has the most abundant and bioavailable nutrients, especially those essential amino acids. 30 grams of protein, in case you're wondering, is 5 ounces of meat or 6 ounces of fish. Easy. So many people are guilty of breaking their fast with a salad, 1 egg, and an avocado because they're scared of calories. That gets you maybe 7 or 8 grams of protein. You're not even close to triggering muscle protein synthesis. And this is why so many people still struggle with weight loss even though they're already doing intermittent fasting. And then they eventually hit a weight loss plateau. The solution is not to fast longer. It really is, from a metabolic perspective, about being under-muscled. You're not eating enough protein. Protein is also the most satiating macronutrient, so it's gonna help you feel fuller a lot longer. There's also the thermic effect of protein. 20% of the calories from protein are spent just digesting it. So if you eat 500 calories of ground beef, for example, your body only absorbs 400 calories because 100 calories were spent just digesting it. Those 400 calories are also more bioavailable. There's also this thing called the protein leverage hypothesis. Your brain will urge you to keep eating until it gets the adequate amount of protein that it needs. This is why 90% of the population struggle with insatiable and seemingly uncontrollable cravings. Protein is the off switch. You're not eating enough protein. I just gave you the secret to weight loss. Now, if you want to equate those numbers to plant protein containing those essential amino acids, you'd have to eat 6 cups of quinoa just to get those 30 grams of protein. 6 cups of quinoa also has over 1,300 calories and 234 grams of carbs. That would be metabolically devastating to your blood sugar and insulin levels. Or you'd have to eat about a pound of tofu to get the same amount of essential amino acids just for that one meal. That is a stupid amount of tofu. That's why not all protein are created equal. The combination of not doing resistance training and not getting adequate and high quality protein is easily one of the biggest reasons why people struggle losing weight and changing their body composition when they're doing intermittent fasting. Again, the best time to work out is whenever you can do it. If you can only do it in the afternoon when you're done work, it's not a big deal. 10 to 30 minutes of resistance training done 2 to 3 times a week is all you need. If you want to accelerate that fat burning process, you can maybe wait an hour or 2 before you break your fast so your body can burn fat for energy and activate autophagy. When you do break your fast, prioritize eating at least 30 to 50 grams of high quality protein to trigger the all-important muscle protein synthesis. Simple, right? Now, if you enjoyed this video and want to keep doing a deep dive because there's so much more to learn, then you're gonna love this one. I'll see you there.